You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies.
This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Mary Mary After Show.
We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show.
It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Mary Mary After Show.
Oh, I thought it was a faster song. My head was going like this.
No, this is the glory.
The glory.
You need the help of the Jesus with this. What's going on in this episode, man?
Exactly. Yeah, especially for the sisters.
You know,
they needed some help.
Some help.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to AFTERBUZZ TV After Show for Mary Mary, Episode 8, Season 3, Holding Down the Fort. I am your host, Ashida Onrae, and with me I have the fabulous Lem.
What's up, everybody?
Chloe's not with us today. We miss her, and we send out a shout out to you. Hey,
Shout
Chloe.
out. What up, Chloe?
So let's get into it.
Yes.
All right. So it starts off with Erica meeting the new manager, and he has a lot. He's excited. He has a lot of things.
Kenneth Creer is his name.
Kenneth Creer.
Yes.
Thank you. And he has a lot. He's ready to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And is it me, or are you starting to see another communication breakdown amongst the manager and Warryn?
Well, I think it's funny because throughout the show there was points where, okay, here you have, and I'm sure that this probably happens because there's a lot of, couple duos that work together in business and they're also married, whether it's in entertainment, whether it's, a store that they manage, you know what I'm saying, whatever. But it's like, she's like, oh, okay, so you need to talk to Warryn. Well, that's her husband. And he's like, okay, well, I try to talk to Warryn, but I'm trying to get it done. She's like, okay, we'll talk to Warryn. So it's like she's telling her manager to talk to her husband because that's business. But
Right.
It's like, it's just interesting. Like, and even down further in the episode, there was a situation where he's talking to Warryn and then she's like, well, I talked to Erica. Well, you need to, you know what I'm saying? It's just interesting, the dynamic between you have your family and your business.
Right. And I'm also seeing the same thing over again where Warryn doesn't want to give out any information.
Right.
He's not going to tell him. And I'm not in the music industry, so I'm not sure why does a producer not want to tell a manager when the release date is for the album?
And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
And he mentioned it in the episode. The producer is the creative person in this equation. They are the ones, and especially with Warryn, because he's wearing a lot of hats. He's producing the album, he's producing the songs, but he's also writing the songs because there was a comment he made, oh, you're gonna have some writers come in. He's like, no, he didn't say that, but when they went to him by himself, he's like, that's not what I do. I'm doing the writing for this particular album. So he doesn't want the creative process rushed. And Kenneth is coming from a business standpoint saying, this needs to be done, this needs to be done. We need a release date so she can get a perfume done. We can book a tour or whatever that he's responsible for. Warryn is the creative person. Like, you cannot rush creativity.
And I get that and I understand that, but why not bring someone else along to help speed up the process so that she can be, because she's a star, but he said he wants to make her a superstar. Right. International superstar. Right. So let's collaborate and work together. But it seems like he doesn't want to do that. Now, again, I personally would like to have someone to come and help along with because she's anxious too.
She is. But you got to understand too, there's a lot of stuff we don't know and we don't see. And I'm just speculating. But to me, someone like Warryn, who's been in the business for a long time and has, different things that he has going on, when you bring somebody in, that's money. So he's the producer, but he's also, this is his label. My Block's his label. Right. So if his label's holding the album, those are costs that he's incurring by bringing someone in. Whereas if he could do it himself, how much money does that save and still produce a good album?
Right. But then you're also working with Joy Starr, who is absolutely fabulous, who has been on the show. And then you're also working with Music Soul Child. So,
and that's just what they mentioned in that episode.
Exactly. And he could be working with so many other artists.
Exactly.
But to speed up, because she's ready to have her solo career, let's at least have the conversation, think about it.
Sure.
To,
And I don't think he cut him totally off because I think it's a different situation than it was with Mitch. I think with this guy really has her best interest at heart. And he's also coming in on like, I got to prove myself, you know? So he wants to show that he can do this. And so that's why when they had their meeting, Kenneth and Erica, he's like, I got this ready. I got this ready. I just need an album date. I just need an album. We need it by December. You know, they met with the perfume, all that going on. And he's like, December, I'm thinking, oh, Christmas. I mean, he's got his business. He knows what he's doing. He's good at what he does. But I think this is definitely something that probably a glimpse of what happens everywhere in this music industry.
And it's funny because you have the manager now who's ready to take you where you need to go, which you didn't get with Mitch.
Right.
And then, but now you don't have the album. Before you had the album, but you couldn't go where you wanted to go with Mitch. So it's just like,
and the holdup is your husband.
It's the husband.
Which is crazy.
I'm just saying.
Hey.
So let's move on and talk about the sisters.
Yes.
Now,
the trio? Are we talking about the trio? The new group?
The new group, the Shantae and Gugu.
Right.
So, Shantae has a beautiful voice.
Shantae can blow.
She can blow.
She can blow.
I give her that.
Erica even said she thinks that she's better singing than Erica.
Exactly.
She gave her props.
But her work ethic, that I have an issue with that.
Well, I have an issue with her bringing her sisters on because only because. Like, first of all, Google, she tells Google to sing. Google's like, what, sing what? Like, what's the last thing in 96? Like, you know, when I was in youth choir. I mean, I think she wanted the help of her sisters. But I think, you know, and I'm just going to say this because this is a reality show. I think that particular situation made for good TV because there was something behind it. We are introduced to, the only time that I remember seeing her sister this season was just a shot that they gave us during her baby's christening. And they said, and they, you know, had the subtitle, we know that's her sister. She had the shades on. We hadn't heard her speak. We hadn't heard her say anything. So this was a way to introduce her into the fold, into the show. So I think that this was a production move more so than she needed her sister to sing. Because if you think about it, Erica's a professional. She's been in this business for years. And if your sister, you're the duo, Mary Mary, the half of you cannot be there. If you're going to bring anybody on, it's going to be somebody that's used to doing this. So that's also a professional that can hold their weight and kind of do the show that you need it to be done.
And not Shantae.
Right.
But Shantae sings at the church.
Okay.
So for her to have a fear and you sing amongst, you know, a congregation, you sing amongst everybody, why? It should be the same, don't you think?
No,
it should be different.
I'm not saying it should be different, but I'm saying it is a lot of times. If you're singing at church, you're singing, first of all, you're singing to the glory of God, which they do that because they sing gospel music. So gospel music, in essence, glory of God. However, the church, churches got your family in there. Churches got supporters, people you probably known since you was a little kid.
But they still critics.
But what I'm saying is, what I be saying, no, what I'm saying is they're supporting you for the most part. You've been doing it, especially if you've been doing it for any length of time. You know, come on now, let's keep it real. You go to any, let's say gospel-esque church, Pentecostal, Baptist, you get up sing, they know you can sing. Come on, Shantae, you better, in the name, you know, I mean, they gonna get behind you.
Right.
And so when you're going to a foreign territory, you have two things. You're going to a foreign territory, so people that aren't going to do that, so you're going to be shy about that. But then also, you're filling big shoes. And she's filling the other half of a duo that's known all over the world.
Now, I'm not saying for her not to be nervous. I'm just saying practice. Because every time she asked her to practice, she didn't want to do it.
She was hesitant, right.
So if you're filling big shoes, then practice so that you can fill the big shoes.
Right.
She always just had this attitude on her face like she didn't want to do it, or she didn't.
But listen, Ashida, this is my problem. She had to force them to do it in the first place. It wasn't like she was like, oh, can I sing? Oh, girl, I can sing. Like she wasn't doing none of that. She was like, can you sing, please? And then she was like, trying to give me a high five. So that's what I'm saying. Like she really didn't want to do it in the first place. So of course she's going to be apprehensive getting to that point of going down to DC and singing in front of these people.
All right.
I'm just saying.
I just know that if I had a voice like that, you couldn't take me off the stage.
Me too. I'm with you. I would be like, excuse me?
Right.
Do we need Tina to come back. Like I can just fill in as long as you know what I'm saying. Like I'm with you.
Right.
If I could sing like that, I would be singing to everyone.
Exactly, because there's no fear.
Exactly.
Everybody knows that I'm not Tina.
Right.
And we're just coming here
to
support Erica,
and
that's fine.
And
then when you look at if you look at the audience,
it's
not like they were really looking for, where's Tina?
Right,
We've been,
exactly.
We paid $250 for some tickets, and we're looking for Tina. So, anywho, I'm just saying they could just have been a little bit more professional.
No, I totally agree. But then I think just going further into this, if you notice, with the whole mantra of Mary Mary, they have a big family, and they do try to include their family within. Gugu's their stylist. She's their sister. You know what I'm saying?
Her hair was cute, though, I must say. Gugu's hair was off the chain.
Her was banging. I liked her hair. I will say I did notice that. Yeah, it was pretty banging. It was pretty banging. So, but no, I think they like to, and as they should. I'm not knocking that at all. I think that's great. I think just in this instance, if you got to force them to do it,
that's an issue.
Yeah. But she killed it.
Yes, she did.
She put it down.
So I'm ready to get to the juicy part.
Of course
the part that I have been waiting for, guys, for several episodes. I had to get to episode 8 to kind of get an idea of what Teddy was thinking, what was going on in his mind while he had these affairs. So I want to start off with.
It's coming.
It's coming because I'm really excited about it. I'm going to start off with Erica talking with her husband because her husband said, Warryn, she's having a hard time forgiving Teddy. And Warryn is saying, why? He didn't do anything to you. And she's like, but it's my sister. And he was like, okay, but that's none of our business. Do you agree with that?
Well, okay, it just goes back to what I said earlier. They're a close-knit family, so, and then Erica and Tina are very close because, of course, they work together and they've been in this group for years. So I think Erica is warranted to have those feelings. Sure. I'm not saying that, she's not going to, it's not the same thing as Tina because it's Tina's husband.
Exactly.
But I definitely think, sure, she's warranted those feelings. Teddy's been there for years as her, husband and partner. So they're accustomed to coming together. Her husband and Teddy are in a group together, Soul Seekers. So there's a lot of closeness together of whether it's family time or business. There's a lot of that intertwining. So when that person goes rogue and does something like what he did, sure, you're going to be hurt by it.
But Warryn looked shocked.
That she was hurt?
That Erica was hurt? Erica was bothered and couldn't forget because he was like, did you see his facial expression? Yeah. He was on the computer. He was like, for what?
It ain't your husband.
He's so detached from it. And is that something that a man can do? Because we're emotional beings. We're females. Right. I get that. But Warryn is completely just so detached from it. It was just like, for what? Like, why are you tripping? This has nothing to do with us. Let's move on to the next thing.
Well, but then I think...
But I think he'd be different if it was his sister. And it's a blood sister.
Right. No, and I think you're right. I think it's how, how you're connected. But I think it also does play into the fact that, women different than men when it comes to those type of things. And Warryn knowing what's going on, he doesn't. And I think it's also, too, it's like they have their own family. They have their own things going on. She's got this going on, like he was telling her manager. Why are you tired? I got 3 kids and I got Soul Girl and I got a group and I'm doing this and I got to wash clothes and blah, all of this kind of stuff. So I think it's kind of a situation like, why are you tripping? Like, that's their business.
Right.
Don't get so caught up in that you bring it over here. You know what I'm saying?
But it disrupted Mary Mary a little bit.
Sure.
In a sense.
No, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, Teddy. His explanation.
I wrote this down.
I did too.
Oh gosh.
They were together their first 5 years of marriage. They were together nonstop. And I'm assuming from what he's saying that he loved it. And then all of a sudden, Tina started to travel. And that disrupted the flow of them being together all the time. So the way that I perceived it to be from what he's saying, is he couldn't handle her traveling, and so to fill his needs, since she wasn't there to fill his needs, that he had to step out. Am I right to assess that?
You could look at it that way. I'm
trying to stay away from the, okay, she's successful, you're not, and he couldn't. I didn't get that. I didn't get that at all.
I didn't get that either. I think, and we were talking about this in previous, after show episodes in the sense like, oh, is he a sex addict? You know, because we've heard that term used a lot, and there's been disruptions of marriages because people are saying that they're an addict and they can't stay with their partner. I think that he has an issue with sex in that sense. I'm not going to say sex addict. I'll just say issue with sex. And so, like you said, and he did mention this the first 5 years. And I'm going to point out real quick that this just goes to show also that it has been a long time since this has happened, because as he was telling Erica, he's like, I'm not going to do this anymore. So I think the last episode that it happened was some time ago, because I don't remember. I don't know if they mentioned how long they've been married or been together, but he's saying the first 5 years he was good.
Years.
So 13 years. So the first 5 years ago. So then when she started traveling after 5 years, then he started doing it. So that could have been 6 through 10 or 6 through 11. And then 12 and 13 is he hasn't. You see what I'm saying? Maybe he's wanted to, but he hasn't. But then, of course, he came clean because of what had happened in the past. So I'm just saying that to say, like, it's not like he just did it, you know, and for him to say it's not going to happen again, he's probably saying it's been a year. It's been two. I can tell you right now, it's not going to happen again. But yeah, it was multiple people over multiple years.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying. I'm just trying to accept it.
What? Okay. I don't know.
My mind was like, yeah. Okay. But maybe he has a point.
Right.
I'm just trying to accept it because she starts traveling again.
Right.
Then what?
No, I mean, I'm
trying to find how you can't just say your words. You can't just say I'm done or I've stopped. What's going on in your mind? What are you thinking about to stop? How are you curbing that appetite? How do you curb that, you know, that
need or desire
right. if she's not there?
Right.
What are you working through?
Well, right. And I think it's a good point to make. The quote that I put down was, he said, sex was the runaway. That's what he said. He said sex was the runaway for him. And he reverted to doing things before he was married, because it sounds like before he was married, that's what he did. He had sex with multiple women, you know, and that's what he did. He got with Tina and they got together, got married. He shut it down, as he should, as a married man.
Right.
Stayed faithful 4 or 5 years. Then she started traveling. There's emptiness I need to go back to. So he reverted back to something that, so again, this goes to what I was saying earlier. He has this issue, and he had it even in those 5 years. Because if he's saying he reverted back to how he was before, he was, you know, a sexual person, promiscuous or whatever you want to call it, before he got with Tina, and then got with Tina and it's like, oh, okay, I'm in love. Let me get with this, you know, 5 years, let's get it cracking. And then she strays, and then that thing rises up in him because now there's space for it to come out. So then he now goes, oh, let me go back to these women.
Right.
Let me go back to doing what I did before. So it's always been something that's in him. Now we're at the present at this point, and he's saying, I'm not going to do it. Now, I don't know if he went through something or had an epiphany or whatever the case is. Like I said, I don't know how long it's been since his last, you know, we don't know that. That's what I'm saying. We don't know that. But for him to say that, it's a hard pill to swallow, because you've already hurt this person. And how do they know that they can trust you because you lied to them over and over repeatedly? Right.
And we even heard her say, I'm tired of, you know, you talking, you said you're going to change and you don't. I'm tired of the flowers. I'm tired of the cars. I'm just tired of everything.
Right.
So he never really fixed himself, if that's the case. If you went from being that way before you were married, then to getting married and then reverting back, you never fixed yourself.
No, he didn't. But he's saying now he's fixed.
Oh, because you caught.
Well, I'm just again, I'm just saying he wants. I mean, the end of the story is that he wants his marriage to work. He wants to be with Tina. Obviously, he loves Tina. He has this issue, and so the thing with Tina is she's struggling to forgive him and let it go for them to come back to being married. And she even says when they're talking, and I don't know if you have that next up.
Yes, I do. We can
jump there.
Yeah, we can jump
there. So, you know, she says, you know, Tina's talking to her sister. You know, Erica calls her and is like, you know, I talked to Teddy, you know, and, you know, she's, of course, not happy about that. Because she's in her Zen mode trying to get right. And, you know, she says, maybe it's not for God to fix this. And she says those words. And she also called him, I wear a few quotes, trash of a man, which was heavy, because that's serious business. And she says she feels tormented every day. So it's like she's going through a lot with this, and it's not funny, because it's not funny at all. But the one thing that I have an issue with is, and again, this is a show, this is edited, you know, so we don't know everything. But what I have an issue with is it feels like Teddy is way too calm. And he's way too collect, and it feels like even his demeanor is almost like, okay, I messed up. I told her, what she want now? You know what I'm saying?
So he should be more. He should be more what?
I don't know that he should be more anything. I just feel like he's not. He wants her back, but he's just. I mean, it feels like he's hiding emotion. Like he. I don't want to say he's not remorseful, but I mean, I'm gauging his countenance when she talked to him, when she was very calm. She talked to him, and his demeanor, like. For instance, if I was in that position, which I will never be in, but if I was in that position, God forbid, if I was in that position and my wife is telling me, this is how I feel, I'm broken, and you're going to have to leave, I would be like, baby, look, you know, I would get, if I want to be with her, I'd be like, no, like, let me tell. And he was just, okay, all right, cool. I mean, he got up and then just kissed her on the forehead and was out. And when he was talking to Erica, same thing. He was just like, you know, I mean,
or maybe he's done that.
And that's what I'm saying. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
I'm just going by what I see on the show.
Exactly. And I actually agree with you on that. Yeah. Maybe, or he's just at that point where he's just like, I messed up so bad. I'm just not going to say nothing. And whatever you want, I'm going to do.
That could be it.
Okay, babe, I'll leave. Okay, babe, I'll do this. Right. Okay, babe, what you want me to do next?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And I feel you on that. I actually agree with you. Now, I remember, just, you know, for conversation's sake, viewers, let me know what you think. I remember Steve Harvey making a point saying that it doesn't have to be the end of your marriage when your spouse cheats or your boyfriend cheats, because a lot of times that's when they actually really get the lesson. Because your relationship is now threatened. Yes, he said men are stupid, guys are stupid, men are dumb. We go out and we do dumb things.
Steve Harvey said this?
Steve Harvey said this. Okay. But yet, in his book, Think Like a Man.
Oh, okay.
But once he said, I've seen marriages grow to being beautiful unions once they got over that cheating scandal.
Okay.
Not saying that Erica, Tina, and Teddy can get, because this is multiple, this is different.
Right.
But just for conversation's sake, maybe, because I know that she's talking about that when she came back, you know, from her trip, she came back and she seemed a little bit more calm, a little bit more zen, that maybe she has hope. So should they survive this, that maybe their relationship, they can be a little bit stronger because of what they've gone through and how they've come out from, you know, from what a man has said.
Sure.
So I looked at the episode a little bit differently based on me reading that and knowing that.
Okay.
And I said, okay, well, if they come back, maybe they'll be stronger than ever and can show us that, yes, we went through hell. Right. But we're stronger.
We're good to go.
Because now he knows what he can lose. So do you agree with that? Do you think that's, because a lot of people are kind of yay and nay on Steve Harvey,
right?
You know,
and his principles and
his principles and his thoughts or whatever. But I know people who have husbands who have strayed and the wife has stayed and their relationship is stronger.
It's strong
because he saw what he wouldn't be able to have, which is his family.
Right.
For some reason, I don't know why they don't think before they do, but just to say, you know, that their relationship is stronger.
Well, okay. So piggybacking on that point, I think that in a lot of cases, when men do stray, I think it's because they're taking their spouse for granted. I think that's a lot of what happens. They feel they're complacent in their relationship, or they feel that
their needs are not met,
right, or something like that. Something is not right with the world as they see it, whether it's in the bedroom or whether it's mentally or whether it's with the children. I mean, you know, it could be a number of things. But I think when they stray, you know, the whole grass is greener. They kind of, you know, do that because of, you know, they're getting what they feel like is lacking in the relationship from this other individual. And then again, when it's threatened, I think a lot of times it's like a wake up call, and they're like, well, wait a second, I don't want to lose what I have. Let me see if I can make this better. Let me see if I can make this work, because this is the person for me, or we have a family, or I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? So, but I think just in the moment, I think there's just a lot of complacency, and they feel like, you know, she's gonna be a regard. I'm just gonna do this real quick, and you know, whatever. And then it doesn't ever work that way. Either something finds out, or they just hold on to it. You know, like Teddy did. Teddy hold on. Who knows how long? Well, he was found out, so he didn't have to hold long. Right. But his intention was to hold. And who knows if he would have, you know, said it on his own. I mean, we don't know. But you know, he was helped in that manner, and then he had to confess and come clean. But you know, it's hard. I mean, it's hard all the way. It's hard on both individuals. I mean, it is. You know,
but I want to talk to you on this point,
sure,
and the viewers as well. I spoke with a gentleman about this particular situation because he was asking, well, what are you doing? I was taking my notes, talking about Mary Mary. And he goes, you know what? This is a situation that I don't understand as a man, because it still goes down to being very simple, which is a choice. I have a girlfriend. I just choose not to cheat on her. Do I get hit on all the time? Absolutely. Do I feel like, oh, wow, she's cute, she's hot, she's this, she's that? But it still boils down to a choice. Either you do it or you don't. And he said, once you think of it that way, as a choice, your life is very simple. Now, it was kind of shocking coming from a man, because I've heard men say it's a battle every day because you guys are so physical and looking at things. That it's hard every day. Some days are easier than others, but it's a battle that you guys go through internally.
Right.
And I was just like, I don't go through that.
Right.
I can be like, no, I got a man and I keep it moving. He's like, yes, because you're a woman and you guys are not as physical as us. We look at everything like, oh, wow. And then next thing you know, your mind's all roaming all over the place. So I'm like, okay, but this particular guy said, I choose every single day not to cheat on my wife. That's a choice that I make. And so for someone to be as simple as what he's saying, to watching this where he's like struggling, I'm baffled. Is it just him being the way that he is because of how he is, or can be something as simple as just saying no? Well,
okay, so
I don't even know if I posed that question right, because I have a lot of thoughts in my mind at the moment.
Because I'm so good at reading you. No, I think I know where you're coming from.
Just babbling on.
Right. No, it's good.
Okay.
So, you know, looking at both sides, you have this gentleman that you said it's simple. It's a choice. And you have a person like, oh, I struggle every day. I think they're one and the same for the part that there's a struggle, but then with the struggle, you have a choice. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
You could still battle with something. It's like, I mean, look at food, you know, you could be like, okay, I choose to eat healthy or I choose not to eat healthy. Right. It doesn't mean that, and it's a simple choice, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to be tempted to eat that donut, you know what I'm saying, that's over there, and you know it's good and it tastes good, but you know it's going to be bad for you. You just make the choice not to, but it doesn't mean there's not going to be a battle within. And what he's saying is there's a choice. And I've always said, if I'm with someone, if I have a significant other, there's no way I'm going to step out on them simply because, well, one, I wouldn't want that to happen to me.
Right.
Because that's, I think, devastating. But then two, it's like, if I feel that I don't want to be in this relationship because I want to be with someone else, then I'm going to end that relationship and then go with this other person if I feel that that's who I need to be with.
Right.
As opposed to, well, let me cheat and then still be with, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's too complicated. Like for me, I'm a simple person. I am a man and I can't multitask anyway. You know, I can barely drive and talk on the phone. You know what I'm saying? So what am I doing? Two women, you know what I mean? It's just so, and then you put in the other equation, which we should really be talking about, especially with the type of characters that are this, is the God center. You know, if God is in your life, and you have, you know, and you're in a relationship and you feel that relationship is ordained by God, then God is the one that's holding it together. Once you step out of that and you feel like, oh, well, I don't need God to help me in this because I got it, then I think that's where a lot of people make a mistake. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not saying Teddy did that. Again, I can't pass judgment on anybody, but I think that, you know, that could be an issue. That could be something where they got married, made that covenant under God. You know what I'm saying? They're both professing to be believers, but then, you know, you're like, oh, God, I'm cool. I'm gonna handle this right now. And then all of a sudden you're out in the wind. And then, you know, you're doing things that you don't want to do, but you can't help it.
And that's a good point. It was just ironic that I was talking to one gentleman and he said, make your life simple and just you make a choice. Okay, am I going to be a cheater or I'm not going to be a cheater? And he said your life is just simple once you make that. Once you make up your mind who you're going to be and what type of man that you're going to be, life is just real easy. They can come to you any which way. Say, nope, that's not who I am. Then you have another man that just struggles with it. So it's just ironic that I just was able to find two.
Now is that, and I have a question for you. This man that's very simple, is he a believer?
Yes.
Or there you go.
But so is Teddy.
Well, what did I just say? Were you listening, Ashida?
I'm sorry.
Were you not listening to me? I gave you the whole explanation.
You're right.
I was very detailed. Jeez. Listeners,
just
can you help your girl out?
I'm sorry.
Can you comment and just help Ashida?
Help me out.
Jesus, in the name.
Because I make a choice too,
right?
And it's just real simple. So I don't struggle with it.
And I think it's simple because again, when God is in your life, it does become simple.
But we're still human. We're flesh.
We are still human. We are flesh. But I'm saying you have to make sure that He's in control.
Yes, that's
Once
true.
you let Him leave the driver's seat, that's where it gets crazy. And I think in any relationship, married, girlfriend, whatever, you know what I'm saying? When you leave that, then I think that's where it gets crazy.
I agree with you. I think we covered the whole episode.
We did.
We did. Let's go into predictions.
Yes.
And now your AfterBuzz TV
boop, boop.
predictions.
Cam being silly.
It's kind of easy when the music is like.
I know, right? It just makes you go.
You can't be serious.
So, what are your predictions?
I just talked a whole lot.
I know. When it's only just you and I we feel that way.
Right. I feel that way. Actually, you don't. But because you asked me all the questions. But so my prediction.
I did good this time. I didn't go question.
You did pretty good. You just need to listen to what my answers are. But anyway, my prediction. So I think that I think this manager. Want to go to him, Mr. Kenneth Creer. I think that he's going to start ruffling some feathers.
That was my prediction.
Too bad you made me go first.
Okay.
So I think he's going to be ruffling some feathers. I think I don't think not necessarily with Erica, but I think there's going to be more going on with Warryn. And I'm not saying he's going to get the axe or anything like that, but I think that there's definitely going to be some more kind of what we saw, in this episode. I think we'll see more of that. I think that we will probably see a discussion with Tina and Teddy in this coming episode, or at least I think in this coming episode it's going to happen, and kind of how she feels. And I don't know that we're going to get a result as far as where it's going to go, like if she's going to stay with him or leave. I don't think we'll get that, but I think that we'll have another conversation now that she's back. And I think Erica's going to still continue to be promoting her solo career.
Well, there you have it. Those are my predictions, especially, the new manager, Kenneth and Warryn. That was really one of my big predictions. I was going to say, okay, now we will see why Mitch was having such a hard time with communication, because they're doing the same thing to Kenneth. Right. So that was my prediction too. Okay, well then high five.
High five.
All right. Well, there you go. After buzzers, we have nailed it again.
We have. We nail it all the time. We nail it all the time.
All the time. Thanks so much for watching us. I'm Ashida Onrae, and you can catch me. Well, you can follow me on Twitter at Ashida Onrae and Instagram and Facebook.
Awesome. Well, you can catch me actually and follow and do whatever you want in the cyber world. But I will be at The Poet Saint, and that's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter all day, every day.
All day, every day. Thanks so much for watching us. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.